Hello, ladies, and welcome back to Get 'em Girl, a girl's guide to relationships, femininity, dating, polarity, and attraction. Okay, ladies, just a reminder, we do have the Facebook group open. I have kind of slacks on accepting the invites, but I have went through and accepted all of my new girls, so go ahead and get in there and get to interacting. Y'all, this page and this group is really for y'all to interact. I will pop in here and there, but it's really for my community of women to be able to speak to each other and get some advice in an environment that's very safeguarded, okay? So go ahead and be a conversation starter. Get on there. Bring up some topics. Even if you need to do it anonymously, that's perfectly fine. But this group is for y'all to do y'all's posting, okay? If you're interested in things that I want to post in regards to femininity, you can always go to the Instagram. Both of those pages, both of those social media links are in the description below, okay? So you'll easily be able to access both of those. But let's go ahead and get into the topic for today. Today, I want to talk to you ladies about the 10 lessons I've learned in my femininity / glow up journey. And a lot of them very recent, ladies. We are ever growing in this journey. And so I just want to share a few things that I've learned with you ladies. And of course, if you have any extra that you just want to dabble in and share with the community, go ahead and leave those in the comments below as well. Okay, so let's just go ahead and get into the video. Okay, ladies, so lesson number 1 is going to be you have to get obsessed with the journey instead of the results. Okay, I think so many times when we're starting a new journey and a new thing, we're looking at inspiration of people who've already achieved this thing and thinking about how nice it would be to have it. But a big part of what keeps you growing and keeps you getting closer to that result is being able to love the journey, is being able to love the little steps that you're incorporating day by day, because the process is what yields the results. So if you can make yourself love the process, the results will come. Do you get what I'm saying, ladies? Focusing on the results isn't what gets you there. Focusing on that process and really loving it and really just sinking your teeth into it is what gets the result. It's going to come if you actually love the things that you're doing day by day so much that you can be consistent in them. Right, ladies? And so the important thing is to not just watch things that inspire you, the result, but to watch things that inspire you to do even more and love even more of the process and improve it. How can I be more effective in it? Okay, ladies, because once you start falling in love with that so much that the process becomes like a habit and it becomes something that you're always trying to better and always trying to make more effective. Once you fall in love with doing that, you'll find that this will become just a part of your day, but you're always getting closer and closer to your result. Right, ladies? So there's no need to hyper focus on the end. As a matter of fact, a lot of people who hyper focus on the end result, they don't actually end up reaching it because they're so focused on the end, they expect it sooner and they end up dropping off before they get there. You have to start to learn to love the steps that get you there so that you continue in on the journey and the results, they come, okay? Loving the process begets the results, okay? They're going to happen as long as you're doing the process. Okay, ladies? All right, so number 2 is going to be that your calendar should reflect your goals. Okay, ladies, so if it's something that matters to you, it needs to live somewhere on your schedule, okay? Because any goal that you have is going to require action behind it. And action behind it is not this one big thing you do one day that makes the goal just come into fruition. The action behind goals are the things that you do day by day consistently, okay, that end up getting you to your goal. And so your calendar should be full of things, full of action steps that get you closer to whatever goal you have set for this season. Okay, if it's nowhere on your schedule, if you have not put it into your routine, if you have not put these things into place so that you can do them day by day, there is no way that you're actually achieving the goal, ladies. Okay, so your schedule should reflect the goals that you have for yourself. If your goal is weight loss, your schedule needs to have training days, workout days on it. If your goal is to make more money financially, your schedule should incorporate things that you are doing to up your funds, okay? The goals that you have, the steps that it takes to get to them need to be on your schedule consistently, not just popping in once a week or something. These steps need to consistently be in your schedule. They need to be routine, ladies. Okay? That is how you actually achieve goals. You take actionable steps day by day consistently. And that's what needs to be on your calendar. Okay, ladies, so this third lesson is something that is just it personally clicked to me because of this whole YouTube that I'm doing, but hopefully it clicks to y'all in the same way. And so this third lesson is to treat habits like a YouTube check. And so when I say that, how YouTube works is like this month is April, right? And I'm uploading content. I'm doing all of these videos. I'm being consistent throughout April uploading this content, right, ladies? Well, here's the kicker. In April, I will not see any of the payout for what I'm doing this month. I will see zero payout from the things that I have done in April. I will not get any pay for that while I'm in April. In May, while I'm chugging along, making my May content, in May, I will receive a payout for the things that I did in April. All the videos I made, all that revenue, I will receive that pay in May. Okay, ladies? So everything that I did in my consistency in April, I see the payoff later on in May. And furthermore, I will be focused on my May content. And all the things that I'm doing in May will show themselves as a result in June. Do you get what I'm saying, ladies? And so you have to treat your habits the same way. This helps me because it makes me realize that all these results that we're looking for, they're not always meant to be instantaneous, okay? Especially results that are really worth something. Sometimes it takes a little time for the gears to get going and things to click into place. So when you think about fitness routines, skincare routines, your dieting, all these different things, sometimes it helps to just realize that, okay, the things that I do this month, I may not see all of the result for it this month, but one day, highly likely next month, I'm going to look in the mirror. I'm going to step on the scale. I'm going to look at or see something that shows that all that I did last month in April was worth it. Right, ladies? It's delayed gratification. And so a lot of times when we're forming habits, we have to realize that there is a delayed gratification and be okay with it, because when you expect it instantly, if you don't get it, you will fall off of the bus. Right, ladies? If you don't get that result instantly and that's what you're expecting, well, you're going to quit sooner. Right? But if you go in realizing that sometimes in these goals, in this glow up journey, in this femininity, there is delayed gratification, but you still do the thing anyway, you will be able to stay on track long enough to see the result come into play. Okay? If you start and you stop things, you will never see the result come into play. But if you can make yourself understand, I do this consistently, even though the payoff is not immediate, knowing that the payoff will come, you can stay on it and stay on it long enough to start to see your results. Okay, ladies? So that's always helped me. Hopefully that connotation helps you as well. Okay, ladies, the fourth lesson is going to be the content that you consume does affect your journey. It does affect your journey, ladies. And so I say that because a lot of times we will start journeys and we will have these things that we want to do in life, and we don't realize that what we sit up and watch and listen to can be in direct conflict with what we want for ourselves. And we do not realize that we are actually feeding the opposite of what we say that we want. Right, ladies? And so the content that we watch needs to be in alignment with what we actually want out of life. It really does. It has to be in alignment. Otherwise, when you sit and you listen to content, you're listening to a story. You're telling yourself a story. You're hearing these things, and it's confirming things in you and telling you things that are the opposite of what you want your reality to be. Okay, ladies? And so now you're wondering why life isn't falling the way that you want it to, but you're listening to things that are not in alignment with what you say you want. You're telling yourself a story that is not in alignment with what you say you want. Right, ladies? This is funny. I use Fantasia as a example of this all the time because she has like free yourself and all of that. You don't want me, then don't talk to me and all this kind of stuff. And she ended up getting married and all that kind of stuff. And people were asking her, they were like, why did you stop singing Free Yourself? Why did you stop singing all these, like the breakup songs and all that kind of stuff? She was like, if I ever wanted to be able to get married, if I ever wanted to be in a situation where I was healthy for a person, I had to get away from singing certain songs that were telling a different story. She was like, I had to get away from that. I had to distance myself from the person that was constantly saying these things and speaking these things over my life. I had to distance myself from that so I can be a person who actually did have that in my life, who could sing a different song, who can tell a different story. I had to get in alignment with the woman who knows that there was a person out there for me. Right, ladies? And so it's the same way with our content. It's the same way with the things we take in. We want things that affirm what we want out of life. We want things that push us closer to the stage of life that we really want to be in. Okay, ladies? And the content you consume does tell you a story. It does feed a certain thing in you. All of these things count. Okay, and you do not want to be counterintuitive by wanting one thing but feeding yourself another. Okay, you want to make sure that you're in alignment, if that makes sense. Okay, ladies, number 5 is going to be romanticize discipline. Okay, and that means your routine needs to stay intact even when the motivation for it is low. Okay, ladies, sometimes I will have days where I am super inspired to do my routine and all the things that get me to my goals. Super inspired. I'm up. I'm ready to go. I'm excited about it. Like, woo, yeah, let's go. And then some days, ladies, I call them discipline days. I literally wake up and I say, oh, this feels like a discipline day, because when I get up, I still have to do those things even when I don't feel like it. I'm relying solely on discipline to get me to do those things because I want to be consistent in going after my goal even when my inspiration is low. Okay? Because when you start and you stop, you lose momentum. Right, ladies? You lose momentum when you start and you stop. And so you can't always just go purely based off of how you feel when you are chasing a goal. I'm going to be honest with you. I can't give you the fluffy stuff. You have to be consistent. Okay. And some days are going to be disciplined days where you just got to get up and do it anyways. Okay. You will run into other days where there is inspiration again. But on some of those days, you just got to make yourself do the thing even when you don't feel like it, so that you keep your momentum. And then when the day comes where you're inspired, or the day comes where you get the result, you'll be so much more happier for it because you actually kept going and did not let the days where you didn't feel it cause you to lose progress. Right, ladies? So romanticize the discipline. Have discipline days. It's okay. Do whatever it is you need to do to make sure that you still show up for yourself, even when you're not excited to do so. Okay, ladies. Number 5 kind of feeds into number 6. But number 6 is self-confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. Okay, ladies, your confidence in yourself builds up when you keep your word to yourself. The same way confidence in a person builds up when they keep their word to you, it works the same for us to ourselves. Okay, ladies, I know it's so easy to give ourselves an excuse and maybe not follow through on certain things that we said we're going to do for ourselves, but you have to realize there is an effect to doing that, right? It is so important for us to be able to follow through for ourselves. When you set a goal, actually follow through on completing it. That adds to your self-confidence. Okay. Highly confident individuals are usually individuals who keep promises to themselves. When they say they're going to do something for themselves, they do it. Okay, ladies, highly confident people do that. And so if you have said, I'm going to lose 20 pounds, okay, if you said, I'm going to work on having a more abundant mindset, if you say, I'm going to live more authentically, I'm going to make sure my no means no, my yes means yes. If you say you're going to do certain things for yourself, you have to follow through on it, because that's what builds your self-confidence. That's what proves to yourself that you can do the things that you're going after. You're giving yourself proof that you can. Okay. And anytime you give yourself an excuse not to follow up on things, all it is another check mark against yourself to say, well, I mean, maybe I can, maybe I can't. I don't really have proof that I'm able. But if you keep giving yourself proof that you can by keeping your promises to yourself, that is what's going to build your confidence to say, okay, on this next goal is going to be this, and I know I can do it because I did the last thing. Right, ladies? So that's so important, to keep your word to yourself. Okay, ladies, lesson number 7 is you have to create boundaries that safeguard your routine. Okay, ladies? And this is really, really important, because I don't know if a lot of women realize it, but when new things tend to get introduced into our lives, we tend to let our routine fall. When there is a new relationship, a new friendship, a new job, whatever it is, we tend to let our routine be the first thing that falls through, right? And as we talked about before, our routine is filled with things that get us to our goal. They're filled with action steps that are helping us to achieve a goal. And so if that routine falls, then where is your goal? Where is your progress to getting to that goal? Okay. And so we have to create boundaries that safeguard our routines. And what that looks like practically means, even if there is a new man in your life, he has to realize, well, from 6 to 7 o'clock in the morning, or from 6 to 9 o'clock, this is my me time. This is the time where I take care of my house. I take care of my body. I get my fitness in. You can't interrupt that unless you're going to come join me on a walk. You can't veer me away from it. This is time that I set aside for myself. This is my routine. No, we're not going to be doing something in the middle of when I have a routine set, because these are things that I have to do. You can join me. Okay, you can come, you can wait a little bit while I finish up, but this is my routine. These are the things that I have to do for myself to make sure that I hit a certain goal. Okay, and I cannot stop them. Okay, ladies, and if you are dealing in a situation where people don't respect your time, you have to kind of look internally and say, well, do I respect my time? Okay, because people are our mirrors. And so if they don't respect your time, that means that you aren't actually respecting your time like you think you are. Okay, you're not sticking to your schedule. You're not creating boundaries that safeguard your routine. You're not sticking to it. Okay, you're not saying no to things that get in the way of your routine. You're up and changing everything when someone else has something going on. So you have to respect your own routine so that other people respect your time too. Right, ladies? So create boundaries that safeguard that routine. Even when new things are coming into your life, the goals that you have set should not be falling by the wayside and never thought of again. Okay, keep your routine in place. Okay, ladies, and number 8 was such a huge lesson for me. Don't confuse being busy with being intentional. Okay, ladies, those are two very, very different things. Okay, when you have goals that you're going after, there are specific action steps that you put in place to get you to that goal. Okay, and you can't just be doing everything and expecting that goal to happen. You have to do things that are in alignment with it, right? If I want to lose weight, I have to do things that cause me to lose weight. Okay. And so just because you fill up your calendar with just random things that are keeping you busy does not mean that you're actually hitting goals. Okay? Just because your calendar is full doesn't mean that you're in alignment with the things that you say you want. And I think people get confused with that, with this whole booked and busy and all this kind of stuff. It's like, yeah, you busy. Yeah, your calendar is full. Yeah, you got a bunch of stuff going on. But are any of these things actually getting you closer to what you said you wanted? Or are they just busy work? Right? And so I don't want you to confuse always having something to do with being intentional and in alignment with your goal. The things that you have on your calendar, you have to make sure they're actually in alignment, that they are actually pushing you forward. They're actually getting you where you want to go instead of a bunch of things that really don't have anything to do with anything. Okay, ladies, so do not confuse the fact that you always are on the go and you always have something going on with you being intentional, setting goals, putting them on your calendar and going after them. Okay, that's two separate things. Okay, ladies, and number 9, which is a hard lesson for a lot of people, myself included, growth is not linear. Okay, growth is not this steady line of progress that inches every single day at the same pace, just like we predicted would. That's not how growth works, okay? Sometimes progress looks like you have a phase of just being unstoppable and you're blooming and everything's going right. And then sometimes progress looks like a slow season and you still showing up for yourself, but sometimes things just not moving as fast as you want them to. Okay, sometimes you have to revisit lessons. Sometimes you have to slip into old habits so that you can bring yourself back out of them again. Sometimes that happens in growth. Okay, ladies, the important thing is to continue to show up for yourself in those times, because we will have those times. Every day will not be a super day. Every day will not be this full bloom, growing, beautiful day that we feel like we have just made so much progress in. Sometimes it sucks. Quite frankly, okay? But honestly, I don't want you to let a slow season, a slow day, a little bit of a slow in progression make you forget how far you have come in your journey, okay? Because even those slow days are lessons. Even those days where it just don't seem like it's moving are teaching you patience, okay? All of these things are a part of the journey. It's not linear, and it's hard when it's slow, but boy, is it great when it's compounding and blooming and growing at a rate faster than you ever imagined. That's life. Okay, ladies? So I want you to remember that. And when you do enter those slow phases, just keep in mind, I'm going to continue to show up for myself, and I'm going to continue to do this because I know the progress is coming. Right, ladies? Okay, ladies, and number 10 is one of the biggest lessons to anyone who's looking to progress and on a journey and all of this. Fall in love with yourself so much that you only accept better and better and better than last time. Right, ladies? Because sometimes we get so caught up on what's the tip, what's the hack, what's the thing, what should I say, what should I do? You know, what do I do in this situation? Sometimes we get so caught up on that we don't realize that if you were to just fall in love with yourself enough, become obsessed with yourself enough, there's certain things that you would and wouldn't do just because you love yourself too much to be in that situation. Right, ladies? Just because you love yourself too much to have to hassle with certain things. If you fall in love with yourself so much so that you are guaranteed to try to give yourself the best every single time, all the little things that you feel like you need to know will come to you naturally. Okay, all the little tips and tricks and all those things that show that you're high value and all these different things, they'll come to you naturally because you love yourself so much that you're automatically going to do things that benefit you. You're automatically going to do things that make you feel better than you did before. You're automatically going to treat yourself and spoil yourself and feed yourself and give yourself the best partner and the best experiences out of life. And you're naturally going to do that when you start to fall in love with yourself. Naturally. So even in all the femininity talk and all the tips and all these different things, if you were to just fall in love with yourself, a lot of these things you wouldn't even have to talk about. You'd be doing them naturally and not even realize it. Okay, ladies? So that is the 10th lesson. Whatever you do, get in front of that mirror, look at yourself, and find a way to fall in love with that person more and more every single day. Okay, ladies? So hopefully y'all enjoyed this video, this lesson. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this video. These are lessons that truly, ladies, like as I've been on my journey, as I've been creating content, as I've been doing my femininity walk, all of these things have come into play as I journey in anything. And I wanted to share this with you so that hopefully it can be a really good help to y'all. I love hearing that I'm a part of your femininity journey and how I help. I love seeing those comments. So thank y'all so much for that love. And again, I want to thank y'all for watching another episode of Get 'em Girl. And I will see y'all next time. Bye.